Although you may be hearing about it for the first time, UV disinfection of water supplies is not new. The need to treat water to avoid disease was even recognized by early civilizations. In fact, exposure to sunlight was one documented method. It wasn't until the early 1900s that the role of UV light in particular was well understood and the technology was developed so that UV light could be used in a controlled and meaningful way. Since then, UV water disinfection has been widely adopted by municipal water providers in Europe and North America to safeguard public health. Over the years, advancement in the technology continued to make ultraviolet systems more compact and more energy efficient. In the early 1960s, UV water treatment systems were applied to residential water treatment, and their popularity has continued to grow. Nowadays, UV disinfection is used in homes and businesses around the world to ensure the water supply is safe and free of harmful microbes. Ultraviolet light is a sophisticated disinfection solution that can be explained quite simply. UV light of a special wavelength is passed through the water, inactivating any pathogens that are present. Your water is safe to drink. To get just a little more technical about it, UV disinfection is a physical process. It is achieved by applying energy from the UV light as opposed to adding chemicals like chlorine. That energy is absorbed by the organism and it disrupts or garbles its DNA. That's the code that tells the microorganism how to reproduce. Without that code, it can't reproduce, so it can't cause infection or illness. The key to UV disinfection is that different amounts of UVC energy are needed to inactivate different organisms. The amount of energy needed is called the dose. For UV systems, you get the dose by multiplying the light intensity by the exposure time. The latter is accounted for by the flow rate of the water through the UV chamber. But to spare you from all that math, manufacturers of UV systems will typically design the system to provide a dose of 30 millijoules per centimeter squared. This is sufficient to inactivate the microorganisms commonly found in water supplies. Typically, there are 4 basic components to a UV system. The heart of the system is, of course, the UV lamp. These are available in different configurations, including low-pressure standard lamps, low-pressure high-output lamps, and low-pressure amalgam lamps, each suited to different flow rates, applications, and footprints. Regardless of the lamp type, it will be protected by a quartz sleeve. This looks like a simple glass tube, but it is critical that it be high-quality quartz because it has to allow as much UVC light to pass through it as possible. The lamp and sleeve are fitted into a stainless steel chamber. The water flows through this chamber at a defined rate to ensure sufficient exposure to the UV light to inactivate any pathogens present. Lastly, the system requires a controller. This is the part of the unit that controls the electrical output and powers the lamp to produce UV light. These units vary in complexity and size depending on the number and type of added features of the system, like lamp change reminders or low UV alarms. A simple water test should tell you everything you need to know about your water quality and what is required to optimize your water treatment system. As we've learned, the effectiveness of a UV system depends on it delivering the right dose of UV light. Other contaminants in your water supply, like turbidity, hardness, or iron and manganese, interfere with that process. So, it may well be necessary to apply pre-treatment like a sediment filter or water softener. Your water treatment professional can make the right recommendations.